Anubis was a creature that incited fear in anyone who encountered him. This was for good reason, as he wasn't your typical canine. The moment Jay escorted him into the vet's office, a sense of foreboding enveloped the room. The veterinarian, without hesitation, phoned the authorities, leaving Jay oblivious as he waited in the lobby. Unbeknownst to him, the police would soon make him reevaluate ever purchasing this enigmatic dog. As the situation escalated, Jay's instincts screamed for him to grab Anubis and make a swift exit. However, before he could act, officers had already descended upon the clinic. Jay wasn't one to relinquish Anubis without at least understanding the peculiar scenario. Once the officers began articulating the circumstances, clarity dawned upon him. Anubis wasn't just any run-of-the-mill pet. How had he overlooked such signs? But what exactly had propelled the vet to contact the police about Anubis? What was it about this dog that seemed to mandate such drastic measures? It was never Jay's intention to adopt an animal that day. But when he looked into the dog's haunting yellow eyes and took in the razor-sharp ears, he felt a strange connection mixed with trepidation. The dog vendor at the farmer's market hardly seemed to invest care in his animals, and the disinterest was palpable. Anubis had arrived only the day before, the seller muttering that prospective buyers found him intimidating, predicting a swift transfer to animal control if left unpurchased, an experience Jay was unwilling to risk condemning the dog to. Suspecting the vendor might be untrustworthy and anticipating an exorbitant price, Jay was startled to find the man eager to part with the peculiar dog. Jay was well aware that introducing a new dog home, especially one as intimidating as Anubis, warranted a discussion with his wife Monique. With energetic twins, 4-year-olds Melvin and Mikey, the dynamics at home would indeed shift with this new addition. Yet as the vendor began packing up, the thought of Anubis being euthanized was unbearable. Jay hastily decided to bring Anubis home, knowing Monique's likely initial reaction would be disapproval. During the drive, Anubis's serene demeanor struck Jay as unusual. Despite the change in environment, the dog remained uncharacteristically composed, quietly observing through the car window. Little did Jay realize that this calmness was not a casual display, but the hallmark of Anubis's true nature. Upon arriving home, Monique's displeased gaze met Jay as he approached with Anubis. Luckily, Melvin and Mikey welcomed him enthusiastically, intervening before Monique could voice her concerns. Jay hesitated, his grip tightening cautiously on the leash. What if Anubis suddenly revealed an aggressive streak? Monique rushed over, her concern apparent, but to everyone's surprise, Anubis was unfazed, taking the new surroundings in his stride. The twins were ecstatic, labeling Anubis as the coolest dog ever, and their excitement slightly tempered Monique's irritation, though her outrage was tangible. She demanded an explanation, perplexed by Jay's unilateral decision to bring a large, unknown dog into their midst. Jay admitted fault in not consulting her beforehand, divulging Anubis's near miss with the shelter fate. Monique's expression softened upon understanding the dog's precarious position, and despite her reservations, she confessed to actually having taken a liking to Anubis. For a while, cautious supervision over the twins' interactions with Anubis became the norm in their household. However, the dog quickly settled into his role as a family guardian, his stoic presence a balm during unsettling times and an effective deterrent against potential threats. Whenever Jason or Monique walked Anubis in public, his intimidating appearance demanded a wide berth from passers-by. Yet Jay's concerns persisted. Anubis's unfathomable lack of emotion gnawed at him, sowing seeds of unease. Driven by a growing curiosity and concern, Jay booked an examination with their local vet. The impending day loomed on the calendar, presenting an opportunity to unravel Anubis's enigmatic aura. With the appointment closing in, Jay embarked on research quests, tallying every conceivable aspect of unexplained dog breeds that might match Anubis's traits. Despite his efforts, the internet offered no definitive answers. The twins, filled with curiosity and a touch of excitement, pestered Jay to join him and Anubis on their vet visit. However, uncertainty about what the checkup might uncover persuaded Jay to leave them at home, prudent against unexpected news. On the day of the vet appointment, anticipation clung to the air. The reception was bustling, a testament to its busy schedule exacerbated by unforeseen emergencies. Jay, used to side glances and skepticism directed at Anubis, nonetheless felt the brunt of their impact as fellow pet owners tightened their grips on leashes or edged away nervously. In an awkward encounter, a vet's assistant approached, regret pooling in her eyes, requesting that Jay and Anubis relocate outside due to several patrons expressing unease. Understanding but inwardly chagrined, Jay acquiesced, though unaware of how this action would precipitate a pivotal series of events. Anubis. Moments after stepping outside, a distinguished man in a trench coat stopped upon noticing Anubis, engaging Jay in conversation. Unlike others, he exhibited not a trace of trepidation. Introducing himself as the senior veterinarian returning from a break, he expressed an unusual interest in Anubis, proposing a scheduling swap to expedite Jay's appointment if allowed to personally examine the dog. The man's eagerness was a tad unsettling, but the chilly weather encouraged Jay to agree. When ushered into the examination room, Anubis was the subject of rapt attention from the senior vet, whose cursory nods belied an all-consuming focus on the dog rather than Jay's misgivings. Halfway through Jay's explanation, the vet excused himself abruptly, exiting through a side door, leaving Jay in stunned silence. From behind the closed door, muted voices indicated a conversation, although the specifics eluded Jay's ears. Frustration mounted as minutes stretched unmercifully until mere waiting transitioned into desperate impatience. All sounds ceased beyond the barrier for a while, revving Jay's curiosity further. Fueled by urgency, Jay's resolve culminated in a decisive action. He kicked the door open, revealing the vet standing unperturbed. With tension crackling in the air, the vet finally divulged the shocking catalyst to his conduct. He had contacted the police, and they were en route. Jay's bewilderment crescendoed into disbelief at the claim, relentlessly probing for answers. The vet assured Jay the authorities would illuminate the situation more adeptly than he could. As Jay's immediate thoughts went to Anubis, anxiety over losing him loomed large. His mind raced with concocted scenarios as he prepared for the worst. He barely had time to react when the police arrived and confronted him as he attempted to flee the building. Surrounded, it was evident they intended to retrieve Anubis, animal control personnel stationed beyond as confirmation. The unfolding situation painted an impossible scene, the need to relinquish Anubis to law enforcement. Steeling himself, Jay asserted that anyone seeking to take Anubis would not proceed without facing him first. One officer, recognizing the emotional turmoil at hand, extended a gesture for calm, stepping forward to clarify. He recounted the senior vet's identification of Anubis. This dog was no ordinary breed, but one entwined deeply in cultural significance. Identified rightly as Zola, Anubis was the companion of a religious leader in Mexico City deeply invested in Aztec practices. This specific Mexican hairless breed bore spiritual connotations, serving as guides through the underworld according to legend, a fearsome yet revered role in otherworldly journeys. The religious leader had used Zola during funeral rites, his characteristic stillness symbolizing peace for the bereaved. Tragically, Zola had been abducted by irreverent trespassers, assumed by many to be lost. An unexpected chain of events led to his transpiring presence here, with Jay unaware of the narrative underpinning his unusual canine acquisition. Faced with this revelation, Jay understood the necessity of restoring Zola to his rightful place. Despite the sorrow of parting, he acknowledged this act as just. Gratefully, the religious leader extended generosity towards Jay for securing Zola's return, offering both thanks and a substantial reward. In the aftermath, Jay and his family approached getting a new dog with cautious consideration, ensuring the animal was documented and unanimously welcomed into their lives. Though content in this choice, memories of Anubis linger unforgotten, a chapter on which Jay occasionally reflects with a blend of nostalgia and peace, comforted by knowing he had ultimately acted from a place of conscience and compassion.